Some of the deepest disappointments in relationships begin with words that were never spoken, not with betrayal, not with shouting, not with one dramatic moment, but with silent expectations. A person expects to be noticed. They expect their effort to be appreciated. They expect someone to understand what hurts them. They expect a partner, friend, or family member to know what they need without being told. And when that expectation is not met, something painful begins to grow. Disappointment, then frustration, then resentment, and then distance. And often the other person does not even know what happened. This is the quiet damage of unspoken expectations. It is one of the most common causes of emotional tension in relationships, because it often hides behind ordinary life. No one says, "I am building resentment." No one says, "I expected something from you, but I never clearly told you." No one says, "I am hurt because I thought you should have known." Instead, people become colder. They become shorter in conversation. They stop giving with the same warmth. They say, "It's fine," when it is not fine. They say, "Don't worry about it," while secretly worrying about it. And slowly, the relationship becomes filled with invisible disappointments. In the previous episode, we explored how childhood shapes adult relationships. We looked at attachment, emotional safety, conflict patterns, self-worth, and the old lessons people carry into love and connection. One of those old lessons often shows up here. Many people learn to expect others to understand their needs without having to name them. Sometimes this comes from fear. Sometimes it comes from pride. Sometimes it comes from past disappointment. And sometimes it comes from the belief that if someone truly cares, they should just know. That belief sounds romantic. But in real relationships, it often becomes painful. Because love does not make another person a mind reader. Care does not create perfect emotional accuracy. Even people who love us can miss what we need if we never express it clearly. This does not mean sensitivity is unimportant. A caring person should pay attention. They should notice patterns. They should be willing to listen. They should not use "I didn't know" as an excuse for never trying to understand. But even attentive people need communication. Healthy relationships cannot survive on guessing. They need clarity. They need honesty. They need the courage to say, "This matters to me." One reason unspoken expectations cause damage is that they create invisible tests. A person may think, if they really care, they will call. If they really know me, they will notice I am upset. If they really value me, they will offer help. If they really love me, they will remember. If they really understand me, I should not have to explain. So they wait. They watch. They measure. But the other person does not know they are being tested. They may be busy. They may be distracted. They may express care differently. They may not realize the moment carries emotional meaning. Then, when they fail the invisible test, the disappointment feels personal. The person thinks, "Now I know where I stand," but maybe what they know is not the full truth. Maybe the other person did not fail because they did not care. Maybe they failed because the expectation was never clearly communicated. This is where many relationships become unfair without anyone intending harm. One person silently expects, the other unknowingly misses. Then the first person feels hurt. The second person feels confused. And when the issue finally comes out, it comes out as accusation. "You should have known. You never think about me. I always have to ask." You clearly don't care. But underneath the accusation, there may be a softer truth. I wanted to feel important. I wanted to feel remembered. I wanted to feel supported. I wanted you to notice me without me having to beg. That deeper truth is understandable. Most people want to feel known. They want to feel that someone sees beyond the surface. But the problem begins when the desire to feel known becomes a demand for silent understanding. Another reason unspoken expectations become damaging is that they often turn generosity into resentment. At the beginning, someone may give freely. They help, they listen, they sacrifice. They make time, they adjust, and they carry emotional weight. But they may also be carrying a hidden hope. One day, they will notice. One day, they will do the same for me. One day, they will appreciate how much I give. One day, they will understand without me saying anything. But if that day does not come, the giving changes. What began as kindness becomes a silent contract. The person continues to give, but now the giving has pain inside it. They feel unseen. They feel taken for granted. They feel foolish for caring so much. And eventually, resentment appears. Resentment often grows where honesty has been avoided. It grows when people say yes while meaning no. It grows when people overgive and undercommunicate. It grows when people expect recognition without asking for change. It grows when people choose silence, then blame the other person for not hearing what was never said. This does not mean the other person has no responsibility. Some people really do take others for granted. Some people ignore obvious effort. Some people enjoy receiving while giving very little back. But even then, silence does not create clarity. If something is becoming painful, it needs to be named. Not with cruelty, not with explosion, but with truth. Because unspoken expectations often become spoken too late. By the time they are expressed, they no longer sound like needs. They sound like anger. They sound like blame. They sound like a long list of everything the other person failed to do. This is why early honesty matters. A simple sentence spoken early can prevent a painful argument later. I need more support with this. It matters to me when you check in. I feel hurt when my effort is not acknowledged. I want to help, but I cannot keep doing this without balance. I know you may not realize this, but this has been weighing on me. These sentences are not a weakness. They are emotionally responsible. They give the relationship a chance to respond before resentment takes over. This is the natural midpoint of the episode. Unspoken expectations are not only about what we expect from others. They are also about what we believe relationships should automatically provide. Some people expect love to always feel easy, so when difficulty comes, they think something must be wrong. Some expect a partner to heal old wounds, so they become disappointed when another person cannot remove pain they did not create. Some expect family to understand them simply because they are family, so they feel deeply wounded when family members do not have the emotional capacity to see them clearly. Some expect friendship to remain close without effort, so distance grows while both people assume the other should reach first. These expectations are not always unreasonable, but they become dangerous when they are never examined. Every relationship has expectations. The question is not whether expectations exist. The question is whether they are conscious, realistic, and communicated. An unconscious expectation controls us from the background. A conscious expectation can be examined. A realistic expectation gives the relationship something healthy to build toward. An unrealistic expectation creates constant disappointment. A communicated expectation invites understanding. An unspoken expectation creates confusion. This is why emotional maturity requires us to ask, what am I expecting? Have I actually said it? Is this expectation fair? Is it based on the present relationship or on an old wound? Am I asking for care or am I demanding mind reading? Am I giving freely or am I giving with a hidden contract? These questions are not always comfortable, but they protect relationships from unnecessary pain. Another part of this issue is that many people confuse asking with begging. They think, if I have to ask, it does not count. This belief can create deep loneliness because it makes people feel that love is only meaningful if it arrives without explanation. Of course, there is beauty in being noticed without asking. There is beauty in someone remembering what matters to us. There is beauty in receiving care without having to request every detail. But asking does not make the care meaningless. If someone responds with sincerity after we express a need, that still matters. It means they listened. It means they were willing to learn us. It means they cared enough to adjust. Healthy love is not proven by perfect guessing. It is often proven by how someone responds when we speak clearly. Do they dismiss us? Do they mock the need? Do they become defensive? Do they ignore the request? Or do they listen, consider, and try? That response tells us something important. Not whether they can read minds, but whether they can receive truth. The ability to ask clearly is one of the most underrated relationship skills. It sounds simple, but for many people, it is difficult. To ask clearly, we must admit that we have needs. We must risk disappointment. We must let go of the fantasy that the right person will understand everything without effort. We must become honest enough to say, "This matters to me." And that kind of honesty can feel vulnerable, but it is also freeing. Because once a need is spoken, the relationship can stop living in guessing and begin living in truth. Another important part of unspoken expectations is boundaries. Sometimes people become resentful, not because others are demanding too much, but because they themselves have not set clear limits. They keep saying yes. They keep making themselves available. They keep carrying responsibilities they never agreed to carry honestly. Then they feel angry when others continue to expect the same. But if we never communicate a boundary, people may assume the pattern is acceptable. Again, this does not excuse selfishness, but it reminds us that silence can teach others the wrong lesson. A boundary does not have to be harsh. It can sound like, "I cannot do that this time. I need more rest. I want to support you, but I also need balance. I am not able to keep carrying this alone. I need us to share this responsibility differently." These statements protect the relationship from hidden resentment, because resentment often grows when people abandon themselves and then blame others for accepting the version of them that never said no. This is a hard truth, but an important one. Sometimes we must stop being silently disappointed that people do not respect limits we have never clearly expressed. Healthy relationships need kindness, but they also need honest limits. They need care, but they also need clarity. They need generosity, but they also need mutual responsibility. So how do we begin to heal the damage of unspoken expectations? First, we name the expectation, not as an attack, but as awareness. I realize I was expecting you to notice this without me saying it. I think I felt hurt because I had an expectation I did not explain. I need to be clearer about what matters to me. This kind of honesty lowers defensiveness because it includes self-responsibility. Second, we express the need beneath the expectation. Many expectations hide a deeper need. The expectation may be, "You should call more." The need may be, "I want to feel connected." The expectation may be, "You should help without being asked." The need may be, "I want to feel supported." The expectation may be, "You should know I am upset." The need may be, "I want my emotions to matter to you." When we speak from the need rather than the accusation, the conversation becomes more human. Third, we allow the other person to respond. This is important. Communication is not control. Expressing a need does not guarantee the other person will meet it exactly as we imagined. They may have limits. They may see the situation differently. They may need time. They may be willing in some ways and unable in others. This is where relationship becomes a conversation, not a script. The goal is not to force someone to become the person in our imagination. The goal is to discover whether two real people can understand each other and build something honest. Fourth, we watch patterns. If we express a need clearly and the other person sincerely tries, trust can grow. If we express a need clearly and the other person repeatedly dismisses it, that also tells us something. Clarity helps us see reality. Unspoken expectations keep us trapped in confusion. Spoken truth reveals what the relationship can actually hold. So as we close this episode, remember this: unspoken expectations can quietly damage even meaningful relationships. Not because expectations are wrong, but because hidden expectations often become invisible tests, silent contracts, and delayed resentment. Love needs sensitivity, but it also needs communication. Care needs attention, but it also needs clarity. And emotional maturity means learning to say what matters before silence turns into distance. The goal is not to stop having needs. The goal is to become honest about them, not demanding, not blaming, not testing, but honest. Because relationships become healthier when people stop expecting others to guess the whole truth and begin inviting them into it. In the next episode, we will explore why conflict reveals the truth about a relationship. Not because conflict is always bad, but because the way people disagree often shows the real level of maturity, safety, respect, and repair between them. If this video gave you something to reflect on, take a moment to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments. And before you leave, ask yourself this: what expectation have I been carrying silently that needs to be spoken with honesty and care?